Hello students, this is a class for BA part 2nd and we continue with the 5th part of my lecture on Elegy written in a country churchyard, an elegy written by Thomas Gray. We have already done the poem up to this part and now we begin from here. We talked about what their destiny denied them, the good things and the bad things. Why? Because they were born in the rural area and they did not get an opportunity to reach to the senates or to become aristocrats, or you can say the rulers, and that confined their crimes also. And now we move forward. Far from the madding crowd's ignoble strife, their sober wishes never learn to stray along the cool, sequestered vale of life. They kept the noiseless tenure of their way. The very first line, far from the madding crowd, this phrase appealed to Thomas Hardy, a novelist of 20th century, so much that he entitled one of his novels with this phrase, far from the madding crowd. So these villagers live in the village which is far from the city life, and the poet calls this city life as the madding crowd, a place of maddening crowds which behave in a frenzied manner. And why they are in a frenzied state, why they are mad, and they are behaving like mad people, because they live in a strife, constant strife, continuous strife, in a state of crisis. Strife means a struggle. So the life in the city is full of struggles, and this strife is ignoble. Ignoble means it is mean. You don't need to indulge in this. So this is ignoble strife. So these villagers live away from the ignoble, struggling life of city, and their sober wishes never learned to stray. Stray means wander. Their wishes, which were sober, which were good enough, which were wise enough, which were prudent enough, so their sober wishes never learned to stray. Stray means wander away. They were focused. They lived a very focused kind of life. They never strayed, as you have ample opportunity to stray in the city life. So, along the cool, sequestered vale of life, cool and sequestered. Sequestered means secluded, अलग थलग रहने वाली ऐसी अलग थलग वेल. वेल मीन्स वैली ऑफ लाइफ, जीवन की ऐसी वैली विच इज सेक्वेस्टर्ड, विच इज ऑल in a where they live in a secluded place. They kept along the cool sequestered valley of life, अलग थलग दुनिया उनकी जो थी ऐसी वैली में, they kept the noiseless tenure of their way. Noiseless means peaceful. They kept the peaceful time of their way, of their life, living in the village. Yet, even these bonds from insult to protect, yet to protect even these bonds from insult, some frail memorial still erected nigh. Nigh means near, erected means built. Memorial, a place built for the memory of a deceased person. Frail means weak, means which is not very imposing, which is not very grand in design. So some small memorial was built nearby just to protect the bones of these dead forefathers from insult, so that they may not be insulted. Just to honor the dead body, just to honor their grave, they erect some small memorial over there. And what else? With uncouth rhymes. Uncouth means simple, unsophisticated, not very, you can say, technical rhymes. Rhymes means poems. There are some poems written on these graves or memorials, some simple rhymes, simple poems, and shapeless sculpture. And on some graves, you can find some sculpture also. Sculpture is actually the, uh, you can say, the statue made of the dead person. So, a shapeless sculpture means it is not very refined kind of statue, it is shapeless. They try to give a shape to the deceased person in sculpture, but maybe because they were not very extraordinary uh, sculpture, therefore shapeless sculpture decked. Decked means decorated. They decorated these frail memorials with some shapeless sculpture or with uncouth rhymes. And this memorial implores, last line, I am reading the last line. The frail memorial implores, implore means requests, demands, seeks. So, this frail memorial implores the passing tribute of a sigh. It requires, it implores a passing tribute. Tribute means श्रद्धांजलि, एक तरह से of और श्रद्धांजलि किस रूप में? Of a sigh, so that you can regret the loss of this dead person. एक sigh, एक आह के साथ कि this person who has been so good is no more. Or what else is written on the skull, on the graves? Their name is written, their years, born in this year, died in this year, in this manner, their names, their years, spelt by the unlettered muse. Muse here refers to a poet, village poet, who is unlettered. They believe he was not studied in a reputed school or college. So unlettered muse, the place of fame and elegy supply. The place of fame, the place of fame and elegy. ये जो मेमोरियल है, इसके लिए उसने लिखा, दिस प्लेस ऑफ फेम एंड एलिजी. एलिजी मीन्स द सैड थिंग दैट हैपन्ड हियर, उसके लिए सप्लाइड. Only the name is written, only the years are written by the unlettered muse, and many a holy text. And there are so many holy texts, texts from Bible, some quotations from Bible, holy texts है. Around she strews. She here refers to the unlettered muse. Muse is actually goddess of poetry, goddess of knowledge. So she strews. Strews means scatters. बिखरी हुई है, मतलब here and there some lines are written which are actually the quotations from Bible. And these holy texts teach the rustic moralist to die. These holy texts teach the rustic moralists, the people who live in the village, they are moralistic people, and when they read these holy texts, they easily can face death. जैसे अपन बहुत बार बहुत जगह लिखा रहता है कि मृत्यु अटल सत्य है. So when we read such lines, we dare. मृत्यु एक बड़ा आराम है, एक नींद के जैसे है. इस तरह की लाइन्स व्हेन वी रीड समवेयर रिटन, then it becomes easy for us to die. For means because, these things are written, or why these memorials or the graves are decorated with the holy text and all. For who to dumb forgetfulness a prey, this pleasing anxious being ever resigned. For means because, who अब मैं नीचे सेकंड लाइन की लास्ट वर्ड्स पढ़ूंगा, बिकॉज दैट इज द मेन वर्ब ऑफ द पोएम, ऑफ द लाइन। फॉर हु एवर रिजाइंड, किसने छोड़ा है, दिस प्लीजिंग एंक्सियस बीइंग, बीइंग मीन्स एग्जिस्टेंस, आपका अस्तित्व है, योर लाइफ। और ये लाइफ के लिए उसने जो दो एडजेक्टिव यूज किए, दे आर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू नोट। सी, योर बीइंग इज प्लीजिंग एंड एंक्शियस, इट इज ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ pleasing and anxious being. Your life is full of happiness as well as anxieties. So, even though the life is full of pleasures and anxieties, but still, whoever resigned this pleasing, anxious life to dumb forgetfulness a prey. Everyone is a prey. Prey matlab shikar. Everyone is a victim to dumb forgetfulness. Forgetfulness, vismriti. We are we are forgotten generally. हमको हमारे दादा के बाद के दादा का नाम याद थोड़े है, तो वैसे we generally people are not remembered generation after generation. So we become a prey, we are all a victim, all the mortals, जो भी नश्वर शरीर है, it is a prey to dumb forgetfulness. So whoever resigned this pleasing anxious being to dumb forgetfulness and left the warm pressings of the cheerful day. Warm pressings, pressings means boundaries, warm boundaries, actually he is indicating to the body, हमारे जो शरीर की जो वार्म रहता है, हमारी स्किन जो वार्म रहती है, तो उसके लिए उसने लिखा वार्म प्रेसिंग्स ऑफ द चीयरफुल डे। चीयरफुल डे इज एक्चुअली लाइफ। लेफ्ट दिस बॉडी, द वार्म प्रेसिंग्स ऑफ द चीयरफुल डे रेफर्स टू आवर फिजिकल बीइंग, आवर बॉडी, हमारी इस शरीर को जिसकी वार्म प्रेसिंग्स है उसको, यानी हमारी इस लाइफ को हु एवर लेफ्ट, किसने छोड़ा है, एंड नोर कास्ट, एंड डिड नॉट कास्ट वन लॉन्गिंग लिंगरिंग लुक बिहाइंड। इस जीवन को छोड़ते वक्त, मतलब एट द टाइम ऑफ डेथ, डिड नॉट कास्ट वन लॉन्गिंग लुक बिहाइंड, एक जिसमें लॉन्गिंग हो, लॉन्गिंग मीन्स डिजायर्स, जिसमें इच्छाएं शामिल हो, ऐसी लुक के साथ नहीं छोड़ा हो। मतलब एवरी वन हैज़ लेफ्ट दिस लाइफ, दिस चीयरफुल डे, डे मीन्स लाइफ यहाँ पे, तो हु एवर हैज़ लेफ्ट मीन्स नो वन हैज़ लेफ्ट विद वन लॉन्गिंग लुक, वन लिंगरिंग लुक, लिंगर का मतलब डिले करना, तो डिलेइंग लुक, विद ए डिलेइंग लुक, आप मृत्यु को थोड़ा सा आगे टालना चाहते हैं, आप चाहते हैं कि 2 मिनट और मिल जाए, 1 घंटा और मिल जाए, ऐसे, तो नोर कास्ट वन लॉन्गिंग लिंगरिंग लुक बिहाइंड। ऐसा कौन है जिसने जीवन को छोड़ते वक्त कोई ना कोई इच्छा बची रह जाती है, कोई ना कोई यूं सोचता है कि थोड़ा टाइम और मिल जाए, लिंगर हो जाए लाइफ, ऐसा। और क्या चाहता है, ऑन सम फॉन्ड ब्रेस्ट, ऑन सम हार्ट ऑफ हुज ही वॉज फॉन्ड ऑफ, एक जिनको हम प्यार करते हैं, ऐसे सीने पर सर रखकर, ऑन सम फॉन्ड ब्रेस्ट द पार्टिंग सोल रिलाइज, रिलाइज मतलब रिलैक्सेज, द पार्टिंग सोल मीन्स डाइंग पर्सन, जाते जाते, मरते मरते, एवरी वन वॉन्ट्स टू रिलाई ऑन सम फॉन्ड ब्रेस्ट, सम हार्ट whom we love, some pious drops the closing eye requires, the dying person requires some pious drops, pious means sacred, पवित्र, pious का जो लैटिनाइज्ड वर्जन है उसका मीनिंग होता है ड्यूटीफुल, so both the meanings are very relevant in this line. Some dutiful drops, drops means tears, some tears, because it is our duty, because the tears shed at the time of death are very sacred, बहुत पवित्र होते हैं, ऐसे आंसू द क्लोजिंग आई, द डाइंग आई रिक्वायर्स, मरता हुआ आदमी चाहता है कि लोग उसके लिए आंसू रहें उनके आंखों में, इवन फ्रॉम द टॉम, आप जब मर जाते हैं, आप टॉम में होते हैं, तब भी द वॉइस ऑफ नेचर क्राइज. इट इज़ बिलीव्ड, जनरली वी थिंक कि वॉइस ऑफ नेचर क्राइज इवन इन आवर आशिज. जब हम राख में तब्दील हो जाते हैं तब भी लिव देयर वांटेड फायर्स. वांटेड मतलब यूजुअल, यहाँ पे वांटेड नहीं है, इट इज़ वांटेड, और वांटेड मीन्स यूजुअल, habitual fires. Fires means passions. Some interests, some passions that they used to live in their lifetime, they are still there in their ashes. And now the poem comes to an end, and the subject changes actually. The poem does not come, but the elegy comes to an end. इन लोगों के लिए जितना लिखा था वो पूरा हो गया. And now the poet talks about himself. For you. और ये you किसके लिए है? You have to be very very careful. This you refers to the poet himself. अब वो कहता है, अपने आप को एड्रेस करता है. द पोएट एड्रेसेस टू हिमसेल्फ एंड ही सेज फॉर यू. और ये यू कौन है? हु इज माइंडफुल ऑफ द अनऑनर्ड डेड. वन हु इज केयरफुल ऑफ द अनऑनर्ड डेड. एंड हु आर दीज अनऑनर्ड डेड? These unhonored dead are rustic forefathers who are buried in the graves. The one who has been careful of the unhonored dead dost in these lines their artless tale relate, who describe the lives of these rustic forefathers in his artless tale. Artless means unsophisticated, which is not artistic. Artistic is always learned, जिसको सीखा गया हो. आर्टलेस का मतलब क्या हो गया? जिसमें द पोएट हैज़ नॉट ट्राइड टू पुट एनी रिफाइनमेंट्स. Actually, it is being humble. The poet has definitely decorated his poem with so many embellishments. So it is actually on poet's part to be so humble when he says कि it is an artless tale, it is a simple tale. So for you who relate, who describe in these lines there means the unhonored dead, that is the rustics, their artless tale, their simple tale in these lines. If chance, if by chance, by lonely contemplation led, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate. If by chance some kindred spirit, kindred means similar kind of spirit, person. Spirit means person here. A person of the same kind of spirit shall inquire your fate, your destiny. If someone inquires about the poet, ki what happened to this poet, and this kindred spirit, this say the person of similar kind of spirit, how did he come here? By lonely contemplation led, because he wanted to lead a small time in a lonely contemplation, just as the poet has come in this country churchyard for a lonely contemplation. अकेले वहाँ पे contemplation के लिए जैसे poet आया है, वैसे ही in the same manner, if some similar kind of person comes there, and when he reads this when he reads this elegy, when he knows the poet, he may definitely inquire about his destiny, कि what happened to this poet. तो कोई क्या जवाब देगा इस पर? द पोएट सेज कि हैप्ली, हैप्ली मतलब परहैप्स, सम होरी हेडेड स्वेन. होरी मीन्स वाइट, होर से बना है, होर मीन्स स्नो. तो स्नोवी हेडेड स्वेन मीन्स जिसके बाल सफ़ेद हो गए हों, ऐसा स्वेन. And this is very remarkable. Why? Because maybe this visitor will come after the death of the poet, maybe after 20 years or 30 years or maybe later. So perhaps some hoary headed swain, because he is an old person, so he must be knowing the poet, what happened to him. some hoary-headed swain. Swain means shepherd. So a shepherd who is roaming nearby may say, he may supply this answer. What is the answer? Often. This answer is about the poet. Where is the poet? So he gives the answer about the poet. This will be the answer of some shepherd. What? Oft. Oft means often. Often have we seen him at the peep of dawn. Dawn means morning, early morning time when the sun rises in the east. So at the peep of dawn, at the peep of morning time, we have seen him. कैसे देखा उसको? Brushing with hasty steps the dews away. He would move very fast with hasty steps. He would brush away the dews. ओस की बूंदों को हटाते हुए, मतलब लॉन में चलेगा तो वो बूंदें हटती जाएगी अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग. किस लिए? टू मीट द सन अपॉन द अपलैंड लॉन, जस्ट टू सी द सनराइज in the early morning time. कहाँ पे? Upon the upland lawn means the fields or the farms that are there on the hills. तो अपलैंड लॉन्स पे जाके जब सूर्य को देखने के लिए, अर्ली मॉर्निंग को सूर्योदय देखने के लिए, ही वुड गो. मीन्स इट वॉज ए हैबिट विद द पोएट that he would go on the top of the hills, on in the meadows on the top of the hills, to meet, to see the sunrise. Let us do this up to this place only. We will do the rest of the rest of the poem tomorrow. We will finish the poem tomorrow. Thank you very much.